like to welcome you to RSPE Audio Solutions in Universal City, California. And we're pretty excited this afternoon to start a new series, expert testimony, really, in the field and in the studios. We're excited. We have Greg Price with us, live sound technician, one of the most famous guys out there that we never get to hear of. And he's here today with RSPE to help share a few of his techniques and ideas. It's actually pretty exciting because we're looking forward to you joining us when we actually broadcast this in an upcoming date. And what we're going to do is email us in, and we'll let you know what the date's going to be. How you doing, Greg?
I'm great, thanks.
Right. You know, one thing I didn't mention is some of the acts that he's done.
Oh, please.
We have to do that,
All right.
Because I'm a big fan of Black Sabbath. I mean, that was their first album.
That's right.
And after that, whatever. But Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters, yes.
I do one of their studios in town.
Yes.
Weezer.
Fun, a lot of fun to mix them.
How about Hannah Montana?
I had a lot of fun. I had fun on the Glee show. I think having fun is a big thing of it. I've been with Ozzy for 16 years. You got to have fun to stay with the same artist that long.
Right. It's one of the most important things. That's why we got into the business, right?
That's right. But keep it fresh.
Right.
It's got to stay fresh.
Right.
So how we do that, that's a whole nother seminar, if you will. But yes, I just have the time of my life.
Well, front of house mixing, I know, has changed quite a bit, because I remember in the early days where we had just like a microphone we were plugging into an amplifier.
Right.
And that was live sound.
Yeah.
And from there, we've gone through a couple of long decades of interesting change, and recently plugins have become a big, big thing in digital mixing console environments, several of them, and I think you're familiar with most of them.
I am. You're right about the evolution of audio has been spectacular, and all for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It really is. We can talk about that for hours and hours, but the fact that we can now deliver, in effect, 3D audio at the Staples Center is off the hook.
And so plugins, I mean, software-based.
Yes.
Considerations of the old boxes that we used to stack up and help control our dynamics.
Right.
I mean, are they useful today? I mean, give us a little insight.
So they're extremely useful as we continue to evolve in the digital age, if you will. And the evolution of this manipulation of audio digitally expands even further. There's a soul in us that wants to go back to the analog warmth and coloration and characterization of things. These software products give us that ability to do that. Lord-Alge, he has a package of his own. This package is modeled after his, what I call brick and mortar pieces in his own studio.
Right.
And they are so close to the real piece, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So, again, I think the future is extremely bright for future engineers and what we are going to be able to do with audio.
Well, maybe you'd like to share a few tips with us.
I would love to do that.
RSPE Audio Solutions, we're going to get a few tips here from Greg Price. Really excited about that. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Give us a few ideas about what you do with drums and maybe guitars and the output bus mix, for live. Give us a few pointers.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
I like to start on the stereo bus first. I'm using recorded tracks that I recorded in rehearsal during Ozzy rehearsal of his band. This was recorded on the Avid platform, and I use Pro Tools. The way I do that to get started is the stereo bus. So I don't care where I'm mixing. I could be in a club, or I could be at the largest arena in this country. So I have the SSL quad bus limiter inserted on the stereo bus right now. This is a plugin that I swear by. This manages your ability to keep the mix contained so that Right now, we're just playing drums, bass, guitar, keyboards. But my mix is so very contained that it's just nothing to bring Ozzy's vocal on top of this. We have heard so many records come through this bus. Jack Joseph Puig says a very interesting thing. He says that as mixing engineers, we want to hand our product to the mastering engineer, and he virtually has nothing to do because it comes downstream to him, and we have done our job so well that there's really nothing left. There's no changing of the sound. So that's my prerogative. That is my focus. When I send my audio out of this bus, you could press a record with it, and that is my goal. Okay, so we're gonna go right into the kick drum here, and I've got the kick drum channel up. And as you can see, the input EQ is flat. I'm not using any dynamics on the console or any of that. So I want to model the kick drum EQ first before I do anything else. Yes, I want to get the mic preset up right and all of those good things, but I start with the EQ. From the EQ, I move straight on to the compressor. And as you can see, this is the LA3A. When I first started engineering at the record plant, there was thousands of these things in the studio. This was one of my most favorite compressors. This compressor is Chris Lord-Alge's model. Chris gives you an unbelievable head start on a lot of his presets, but I start out with my own preset, and this is my go-to compressor on the kick drum. Finally, I top it off with a thing called Trans-X. Now, if you remember, there was a little bit of a bump at 2K, 3K right here on the kick drum, but the real snap is coming from Trans-X. It's a modulation type thing, but it gives me incredible articulation on the top end without all the phasing of equalization and all the bother of it really driving the high end of my big PA system when I want to really go for the kick drum. We're on the snare top, and I've loaded up the SSL channel. I started out with Chris's snare preset, but from there, I wanted to model my own sound with my own snare drum. This particular snare drum has a honk at around 200 cycles, so I fished around, and it's really around 315, and I took 3 dB of it. But the top, the punch, the clarity from that snare top all comes from the high end of classic SSL sound, if you will. So I've got 4 or 5 dB at 3K, 4 or 5 dB at 5K, sidechained into the compressor gate, and you can see it working right here. I got a little bit of gating action going on, a very slight 2-to-1 compression ratio on the compressor, because from there, I drive the output of this thing right on down to Chris's Bluey. And by doing that, this is a limiter. So I want to smash the front end with it as bright and as hard as I can to really articulate that. And so for any brightness that I miss, I top it off with the Phoenix. The Phoenix at this is luminescence, wide open. You can play with this a little bit. You can start at -5 and just find out how much crack you really want in that snare drum with this particular piece. I know I only talked about the kick and the snare, and I really invite you all to come back with me, join me. We'll really sink our teeth into drums and how we can really manipulate that drum sound and get it to sound the way you want it to sound. You're producing. Not me, you're producing. So come back and see me and we'll do that. But I want to move straight on to the bass guitar. Now this bass guitar channel is only a microphone. I put an Electro-Voice MD38 on the bass. It's an SVT head, cabinet, everybody's favorite bass rig. It's just a mic. It's got plenty of bleed from the room. Remember, this is a little rehearsal hall. I love it. One input, again, no EQ, no dynamics, it's all plug-in, and there it is. It's called audio track. This thing not only EQs, but it's got gating and compression together. As you can see, the gate immediately opened. I've got it set loose so that as soon as there's a downbeat from the drums, the gate from the mic is opened up, not the bass player. So the drummer actually opened up the mic before the bass player started playing. I've got just a little bit of compression on here. You might not be able to see it because the GUI is not really big on this, but it's like -3 dB of gain reduction, 2-to-1 compression. The big thing about this is the equalizer. Digital equalization, it moves from song to song with my snapshots, from verse to chorus to verse. However we've mapped out that scene on our console, this is the only plugin I've got on this bass guitar. I used to start out with the SSL channel first until I discovered this from an interview from Jack Joseph. I really invite all of you to go to the Waves website and watch 2 of Jack Joseph Puig's interviews. You're gonna be flabbergasted. The heart of heavy metal, the guitar. My favorite instrument. The guitar is what rocks heavy metal. We all know that. This particular guitar, again, there is no EQ, there is no dynamics from the console. This is a simple 4x12 Marshall cabinet with a 57 on it. If you can't get a guitar sound with a 57, you need to rethink what you're doing. Okay, we're gonna go right to the heart of this sound, which is of course a 57 and a V series equalizer. I have everything here. I've got the high pass filter set at 40 cycles. I can add bottom end, top end. I've shaved a little off at 12K, really high. That way I can really drive the high end without it fizzing on me. From there, my friend, Jack Joseph Puig, has given us a gift from his Fairchild collection. I know that there's other Fairchild's plugins in the market, but until you get your hands on this, you're gonna go, what have I been thinking? This is like having the real thing with you. I use this compressor religiously on so many different things. I even put them on the overhead stereo at one time and was blown away. From here, I'm going straight to Eddie Kramer. Now, you might get a sense of where I'm coming from. Remember, the first 20 years of my career, I've only used analog equipment. So I've known nothing else but analog gear. And I want to use these precious pieces that have been modeled from the analog world. So I would like to have an event. I know that I've glossed over some of the very basic plugins that I'm using, but that gives us a lot of room for you to come to the event where we can really sink our teeth into all the very specifics about how I'm doing it, what I'm doing it, and guess what? We could even play with some of your own ideas and throw some of your favorite plugins on top of my tracks.
Well, that was unbelievable. I mean, I can't tell you how excited I am about all the things you shared with us.
Well, thank you.
I learned a lot of things again today, too. And that's the one thing about this business, you're always learning. Every day is a new experience.
That's a really good point about learning. And when it comes to learning, I think that I invite everybody to RSPE's website. I invite you to come down here and look at some of this equipment, because I come to a place like this to talk Don. We talk about ideas, we talk about theories, things that are on my mind that I want to bring to my show. It's essential with the learning curve that we have today with all of this equipment that we don't miss a thing, but that we partner with a great partner to help us navigate our way through this new digital evolution that's happening in audio today. And thanks for watching.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay. And then I'd like to say, anyone that's out there watching us right now, we are going to be having an event right here at RSPE Audio Solutions with Greg Price. And he's going to be here live at our event. We're inviting you to come to our event and actually be here and learn all about this stuff live, right here in Universal City. It's going to be a lot of fun. These events are often sold out, so get to us soon. Let us know you want to come.
A lot of fun. I look forward to it.
Email us, send us your information that you want to come to the event, okay? I'm Don from RSPE Audio, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch our video presentation with our expert in the field, Greg Price.
Thank you.
And again, Greg Price is going to be right here at RSPE Audio Solutions very soon at a live event. We are inviting you to come. Please send us your email information so that we can contact you and get you on the list for the show. Thanks again for coming to RSPE. It was fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
All right, great job. All right.